What up, Talk Sox? This is Jeff, and spring training is underway. And it started getting me to think, well, everybody's publishing what's going on during spring training. What is the origin of spring training? When did it start? When did the Sox participate in spring training? We're going to have to take a dive deep into the roots of spring training. Grab your coffee, buckle up. Let's take a deep dive into this one. As we are aware, spring training has been around forever. But its roots really didn't start until about 1869. Really didn't take off until about 1886, led by the Chicago White Stockings at that time in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And really, the manager at that time, Cap Anson, was like, look, all my players during the winter, they've had some bad habits, and we need conditioning before the start of the season to get these guys back on track. Since that time, things took off, blew up, other teams were participating in a spring training, and by 1900, that's when the Grapefruit League was created in South Florida. All the northern teams would migrate down south and participate in preseason baseball. And fun fact, the reason why they named it the Grapefruit League is because in 1915, there was a stunt involved with the grapefruit. Fun fact. By World War II, we already know that there was a few players, such as Ted Williams, the Great, the GOAT, all participated in the war. Took a few years off. But during the World War II era, teams, there was a lot of restrictions that were being withheld on them due to cost, travel, just money in general, and team safety, that they had to participate in spring training, not in Florida, but again, to save cost. They did it in regions such as Indiana and as well as Maryland. And following the war, Bill Veeck created the Cactus League in 1947, which roll on to the modern era of baseball. All 30 teams now participate, split evenly between the Grapefruit League and as well as the Cactus League, to prep up, condition themselves ahead of the full season of 162 games of baseball. Now, back to the Red Sox. The Red Sox held their first notable spring training game starting way back in 1901. Now, with the Red Sox starting out their spring training, first thing, 1901, throughout the years, they've bounced around at different locations for different various reasons, but for the most part, they've been mostly in Florida. In the early years, though, they were known to be practicing spring training in Charlotte, Virginia, Georgia, Arkansas, California. However, during the 1933 season, right up through the 1958 season, there was a short period during the war, but they were in Sarasota. Then wartime, 1943 to roughly about 1945, World War II. During that time, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there were a lot of restrictions. So they played in Medford, Massachusetts, known as Tufts University, and as well as Baltimore, Maryland, and Pleasantville, New Jersey. Believe it or not, there was a time when the Red Sox was in Scottsdale, Arizona, which essentially was in the late 1950s to right around 1965-ish. And now we are in the era of Fort Myers. Palms Park. Sox done spring training in there from 1993 to 2011. And then in 2012, they introduced their new park, as we all know today, JetBlue Park. And JetBlue Park was a big deal for the Red Sox. Why? Because they mimicked Fenway's dimensions and as well as added a 36-foot high green monster to the facility to help ball players out get used to what it's going to be like should they make the majors at Fenway Park. So there's a little history of spring training, the Red Sox spring training. And for all you history buffs out there, such as myself, that gives you a little bit of history on spring training, the origins, when the Red Sox entered their spring training. Let me know in the comments below if you got any questions. If you'd like to see more videos like this, thank you for checking out Talk Sox. We will catch you all in the next video.